my third marriage, okay? This is Karl's first. I don't want to get to a certain point in our relationship and it all go downhill. So I want to nip it in the bud right here, right now. Like, he spit in my face.
I know, I heard about that.
Like, when I had to play the audio at court in Philly, the lady was like, just turn it off. Like, is that forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you. Because once you realize that your attitude affects your altitude.
At age 46, Lil Mo finally broke her silence about what really happened during her darkest years.
My rock bottom was when I realized that I had sold myself so thin that I got to the point where I was like, I should have just sold my soul a long time ago. Like, I was going out like a sucker. And I hid it so well, people didn't see. But when I was in that marriage boot camp house, Dr. Ish and Dr. V and the judge, they saw everything.
The gospel girl who became R&B royalty had been hiding a secret that nearly destroyed everything.
But it was in March of 2019 when he told me, like, just one day, just like, I will blow your off and I will throw you over this balcony and I'll kill your dad. That's when I was just like, oh, now this, like, it just became too, like, who thinks like that?
Behind the hit songs and reality TV appearances lay a nightmare that took her years to escape. So let's get into it. The little girl who sang grown folk songs at age 4 never imagined that her gift would become a weapon used against her. Cynthia Karen Loving grew up in a military family where respect was earned through discipline and faith was tested through fire. Her father, Bishop Jacob Loving, and her mother had raised her in the church, where she first discovered the power of her voice.
Honestly, well, I used to sing songs in church. I was like 4 or 5, and the first song I led was, I think it was by the Clark sisters, What a Difference It Makes. I was too young to be singing those grown songs.
At 15, her uncle John P. Key gave her the nickname that would define her career. Lil Mo became the protege everyone wanted to claim, but few wanted to protect. The transition from gospel to secular music felt like betrayal to the church girl who worried she would burn in hell for singing love songs instead of hymns. The music industry welcomed her with open arms and hidden agendas. From touring with Guru to becoming Missy Elliott's protege, every opportunity came with strings attached. The young woman who had never filled out a job application was suddenly navigating contracts worth millions, surrounded by men who saw her talent as their ticket to wealth.
Mind you, I'm just getting out of high school.
And you getting paid.
Yes.
You getting real money to do this.
Yeah, and I was just like, so I'm thinking I'm just going for the experience.
Meeting Missy Elliott at 19 changed everything. The producer who would become her mentor saw something special in the church girl with gold teeth and braids who looked like a rapper but sang like an angel.
Like, she was like, yo, your voice is dope. Like, yo, can you come to the city today? I was like, let me check my Palm Pilot. Yep, I'll be there.
Yeah.
But even in that supportive environment, Mo was learning that her voice was valuable to everyone except herself. The pattern started early. Writers, producers, and executives would promise her the world while systematically excluding her from the decisions that affected her career. She was the talent, they explained, not the business mind. Her job was to sing. Their job was to think. The girl who had grown up watching her uncle John P. Key give away money to anyone in need learned to trust the wrong people with her future. When Murder, Inc. came calling with promises of stardom and respect, Mo thought she had found her musical family. Irv Gotti spoke her language, understood her struggle, and seemed genuinely interested in her artistry. The label that had turned unknowns into superstars would surely do the same for her. But Mo was walking into a machine that consumed young black women and spit out empty shells. The same industry that would make her famous would teach her that success meant silence, that gratitude meant accepting less than she deserved, and that speaking up meant losing everything she had worked to build. Murder, Inc. felt like home until Mo realized She was just another voice in Ja Rule's choir. The label that promised to make her a star was actually building an empire on her talent while keeping her in the shadows. The hits that made Ja Rule a household name carried Mo's voice, but the world barely knew her name.
Jeez. They was coming back to back.
It's not Superwoman?
Oh, by myself, yeah. But like I was doing like Hot Boys
First
came out
record you
before
was
that.
on. Was it? Then we'll
I
get
think
to
it was
yours.
Hot Boys.
Was it Hot Boys?
And then Put It On Me. And then I Cried. Like, but I recorded I Cried before I did Put It On Me. Child. It was like so much stuff. It just started going back to back to back.
The studio sessions for Put It On Me and I Cry felt magical at the time. Mo's voice elevated every track she touched, turning Ja Rule's aggressive rap verses into radio-friendly anthems that dominated the charts. But while Ja collected platinum plaques and Grammy nominations, Mo received session payments and empty promises.
Whenever you need me, if you want me to put it on you.
The irony was devastating. Mo's voice made Put It On Me an unstoppable hit, but she was earning pennies while Ja Rule built a career on her contributions. The song that launched Fabulous into superstardom and cemented Ja Rule's pop crossover appeal should have made Mo wealthy. Instead, she watched from the sidelines as others celebrated success built on her talent.
Wanna know what's crazy is? Parking lot pimpin'. Now that I think about it, I used to want to be big and so bad because you really had to be aggressive.
The 106 and Park incident that destroyed her relationship with Ja Rule happened because Mo dared to show solidarity with another artist. Giving 50 Cent a shout-out seconds after premiering Ja Rule's video seemed innocent enough, but it violated the unwritten rules of loyalty that governed Murder, Inc. In Ja's world, you were either completely with him or completely against him. Ja Rule's response was swift and brutal. Loose Change didn't just attack 50 Cent and Eminem, it systematically destroyed Mo's reputation and credited Ja with making her career. The man who had benefited from her talent was now publicly claiming ownership of her success while painting her as an ungrateful traitor. The diss track did more than damage Mo's reputation. It revealed how expendable she had always been. Ja Rule felt comfortable attacking her because he knew the industry would side with the male rapper over the female singer. He understood that Mo's options were limited while his remained endless. The $15 million lawsuit Mo filed in 2005 was an act of desperation disguised as strength. After years of watching Ja Rule profit from her contributions, while she struggled to build her own career, legal action seemed like the only way to get recognition for her work. But even in court, she faced an uphill battle against an industry that protected its male stars at all costs. The reconciliation that came years later felt hollow to those who understood what had really happened. Mo's statement that she ended the feud because Ja's career was declining revealed the sad truth. She had only received respect when her former collaborator could no longer hurt her career. By the time Mo married Karl Dargan in 2014, her relationship with substances had already begun. What started as prescription medication for legitimate pain had evolved into something darker, more necessary for daily survival. The woman who performed on stages around the world was secretly dying inside, one pill at a time.
I had so much pain in my life.
Yeah.
And so much physical, mental, emotional. I was like, I honestly didn't want to feel anything.
Yes.
So I felt like that took the pain away.
The pressure to maintain her career while raising children created impossible demands on her body and mind. Recording entire albums while 9 months pregnant, returning to touring weeks after giving birth, never sitting down since age 15, Mo's life had become a relentless cycle of performance and exhaustion that prescription helped her survive.
It literally just happens because I've had 5 C-sections with my children.
I had one.
And they give you the best meds. So you sit up there, if you feel something, pop, morphine.
Yeah.
And it was just like morphine, honestly, let's be real, it's
The genius of Mo's addiction was its invisibility. While other celebrities' problems became tabloid fodder, Mo maintained perfect control over her public image. She never looked like an addict, never performed poorly, never gave interviews while visibly impaired. Her father's early lesson about protecting the family name meant her destruction happened in private. The daily routine became mechanical. Wake up, take a Percocet 30, add Adderall to function, Tramadol for the pain that never went away. Whatever else was available to make it through another day of pretending everything was fine. $1,000 a week disappeared into her bloodstream while she convinced herself this was normal for someone of her status. Karl Dargan's entrance into her life coincided with the darkest period of her addiction. The professional boxer who promised to protect her became another, using her vulnerability to exploit her financially and emotionally. He understood that an addicted Mo was a controllable Mo, and he had no interest in her recovery. The marriage that looked perfect on Marriage Boot Camp was actually a carefully orchestrated performance. While cameras rolled, Karl played the devoted husband. When they stopped, he returned to the verbal, financial manipulation, and psychological warfare that kept Mo dependent on both him and the that numbed her pain.
My rock bottom was when I realized that I had sold myself so thin that I got to the point where I was like, I should have just sold my soul a long time ago. Like, I was going out like a sucker. And I hid it so well, people didn't see. But when I was in that marriage boot camp house, Dr. Ish and Dr. V and the judge, they saw everything.
Industry friends and colleagues had no idea what was happening behind closed doors. Mo's professionalism was legendary. She showed up, performed flawlessly, and kept her personal struggles private. The woman who could sing with perfect pitch while high on multiple substances had become a master of deception, fooling everyone, including herself. The moment she realized she wanted to die marked both her lowest point and the beginning of her salvation. The drug that had once made everything bearable had stopped working. The that she had rationalized as passion had become life-threatening. The fame that she thought justified her suffering had become a prison she could no longer escape. The decision to appear on Marriage Boot Camp in 2017 represented Mo's last desperate attempt to save a marriage that was already destroying her. What viewers saw was a troubled couple working through their issues. What they didn't see was a battered woman using reality television as a final plea for help.
This is my third marriage, okay? This is Karl's first. I don't want to get to a certain point in our relationship and it all go downhill. So I want to nip it in the bud right here and right now.
The cameras captured Karl's infidelity, but missed the deeper violence happening off-screen. While producers focused on drama that would boost ratings, they failed to recognize the signs of systematic playing out in front of them. Mo's attempts to address serious issues were edited into entertainment for viewers who had no idea they were watching a woman's cry for help. The day they returned home from filming, Karl's mask fell completely. The family day they had planned never happened because Karl was either drunk or high when Mo tried to address his absence. The confrontation that followed revealed the man behind the television persona, violent, controlling, and capable of deadly threats. The escalation was swift and terrifying. Punched walls became broken phones, became scalding liquids thrown at her body. The professional boxer who had promised to protect her was using his strength to terrorize her into submission. The phone call that accidentally revealed her situation to a famous friend showed how isolated she had become from people who could help. The spitting incident that finally broke her spirit happened in front of their children. After years of private, Karl had become comfortable enough to humiliate her in front of the kids they shared. The woman who had survived industry betrayal and addiction couldn't survive watching her children witness her degradation.
Like, he spit in my face.
I know, I heard about that.
Like, when I had to play the audio at court in Philly, the lady was like, just turn it off. Like,
the recording Mo made during Karl's final rampage became the evidence that saved her life. When she took the audio to court for her protection order, judges heard firsthand the threats, violence, and psychological that had defined her marriage. The man who had convinced her she was worthless was exposed as the predator he had always been. Reality television had failed to save Mo's marriage, but it had documented enough evidence to reveal the truth about Karl's character. The same cameras that had exploited her pain for entertainment had inadvertently created a record of his that would protect other women from falling into his trap. The protective order that covered the whole world represented more than legal protection. It was Mo's declaration that she would never again allow anyone to diminish her worth. The woman who had spent years accepting less than she deserved was finally demanding the respect she had always been owed. Karl Dargan's wasn't limited to physical violence. His most devastating attacks targeted Mo's finances, turning her success into a weapon against her independence. The boxer who couldn't match her earning power found other ways to control her wealth, creating a system of financial manipulation that trapped her in the relationship long after love had died. The drugs Karl supplied weren't just tools of addiction, they were instruments of financial control. By ensuring Mo always had access to expensive substances, he created a dependency that extended beyond the physical. Every dollar she spent on pills was a dollar that couldn't be saved for escape. Every debt she incurred for was another chain binding her to him. Lil Mo made the shocking confession via Instagram in a lengthy post detailing her opioid addiction and at the hands of her ex-husband, Karl Dargan, which had her wanting to die. "I was just the money, not gonna even cap." Mo's revelation that she was just the money exposed the transactional nature of their relationship. While she generated income through performances, royalties, and television appearances, Karl positioned himself as the manager of her finances. The woman who had learned independence through decades in the music industry found herself asking permission to spend her own money. Breaking free from Karl meant more than ending physical. It required rebuilding her entire financial life from scratch. The protective order that kept him away from her body also had to extend to her bank accounts, business dealings, and future earnings. Mo's path to recovery would require not just sobriety and healing, but complete financial independence from the man who had weaponized her success against her. While Mo suffered in private, the entertainment industry that had made millions from her talent remained willfully blind to her pain. Colleagues, executives, and collaborators who saw her regularly chose to ignore the signs of an addiction, prioritizing their own comfort over her safety.
That's why I don't even do no free promo about that relationship, because so much of my faults and lack of tact and class and everything that could go wrong from 2012 up until 2019 did.
Television producers who worked with Mo and Karl on multiple shows had front row seats to their toxic dynamic, but treated it as entertainment rather than evidence of abuse. The fights, disrespect, and emotional manipulation that played out on camera were edited for drama, not recognized as cries for help from a woman trapped in a dangerous situation.
Industry,
We'll
you
give
can
you
come
3
in.
minutes.
If you come in, that's why I learned to have tough skin, and I get it. I came in just wanting to work. Oh my God, I could sing, da 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 da, and that's how you get taken advantage of.
Use that.
So now I get it. If you come in smiling and happy and excited, they'll literally devour you.
The music industry's culture had prepared Mo for exploitation, teaching her that survival meant accepting mistreatment as the price of success. The morning that changed everything started like countless others. Karl acting erratically, Mo trying to manage the situation, their children watching tension escalate into violence. But this time, Mo's survival instincts finally overpowered her learned helplessness, and she made the decision that saved her life. Her reaction revealed that somewhere beneath the years of an addiction, her sense of self-worth still existed. The woman who had been systematically broken was finding her voice again.
But then I thought, like, no, I got these kids. So I started trying to deal with things.
The moment Mo questioned why she always had to be the one to calm down marked her psychological breaking point. After years of being told to manage Karl's emotions, control her reactions, and minimize his, she finally recognized the impossible position she had been forced into. The revelation that she couldn't physically defend herself against a professional boxer crystallized the danger of her situation. The intervention that followed her escape was as brutal as it was necessary. Being locked in her mother's basement while experiencing withdrawal symptoms felt like death, but it was the only way to break the chemical chains that had bound her to both the and the man who supplied them. The physical agony of detox paled in comparison to the psychological work of rebuilding her identity. The months of recovery that followed required Mo to rebuild everything: her financial independence, her relationship with her children, her professional relationships, and most importantly, her sense of self. The woman who had survived industry exploitation, addiction, and domestic violence had to learn how to live without the survival mechanisms that had kept her alive but trapped. The decision to go public with her story represented the final stage of Mo's liberation. By speaking openly about her addiction, she was taking back control of her narrative from the people who had used her silence as a weapon. The woman who had been taught to protect everyone else's reputation was finally prioritizing her own truth. 3 years after escaping Karl Dargan's and beating her opioid addiction, Mo faced a different kind of challenge: learning how to exist as a free woman in an industry that profited from keeping women vulnerable. The survivor who had reclaimed her life now had to rebuild her career on her own terms.
Honestly, I'm back to the sacrificial lamb. I'm extending my time so my son that's 13 that'll sing these on the bus, but he wants to be a rapper because he said nobody sings anymore, and they keep on saying R&B is dead, but it's not.
Mo's decision to continue her career despite everything she had endured represented a victory over the forces that had tried to silence her. The same voice that had been exploited by industry and nearly destroyed by addiction became her instrument of liberation. She was no longer singing for survival. She was singing for freedom. The relationship with her 13-year-old son, who preferred rap to singing, became Mo's new motivation for staying relevant. Teaching him about longevity in the music industry meant modeling how to survive its nature. The mother who had failed to protect herself was determined to give her children the tools they needed to avoid her mistakes. The recognition Mo received from younger artists who understood her musical contributions validated her decision to keep creating despite her trauma. The same talent that had been exploited by others was now being celebrated by peers who recognized her influence on their own careers. Her survival had preserved something valuable for future generations. The social media platforms that had once been spaces for hiding her pain became tools for sharing her truth. Mo's willingness to discuss her addiction and recovery publicly created space for other women to share their own stories. The entertainment industry's silent complicity was being challenged by survivors who refused to protect their abused reputations. The financial independence Mo achieved through her recovery allowed her to make career decisions based on artistic merit rather than desperation. No longer dependent on relationships or exploitative contracts, she could choose collaborations that honored her talent rather than diminished it. The woman who had been used by others was finally using her own power. At 46, Mo had survived everything the industry, her addiction, and her could throw at her. The little girl who sang grown folk songs in church had become a grown woman who could sing her own truth without fear. The voice that had made others rich was finally making her free. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.